let me say that we are delighted to be here. Business France had its function here in 2023, and this attracted, of course, over 200 French companies. So we are looking forward to more of that to consolidate the business relationship that exists between Nigeria and France. In recent years, trade relations have also diversified into renewable energy, technology, agro industries, demonstrating, of course, a growing focus on the relationship that exists between the two countries. French businesses, like I said, number over 100 in Nigeria, with leading lights such as Total Energies, Lafarge, Peugeot, Danone, Swiffer, Alstom, Schneider Electric, among others, contributing heavily to our nation's economic growth. Let me therefore seize the opportunity to commend the aspirational disposition of the two leaders, the French and the Nigerian leaders, for consolidating the already existing relationship between our two countries. Nigeria is on a journey, unprecedented journey of reforms that will aim at consolidating the economic footing of Nigeria. Now, under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria is asserting itself as a pro-business environment, having set forth bold and unwavering economic reforms under what is called the Renewed Hope Agenda. Of course, this is a set of 8 priority areas set forth by government to ensure there is not just a boost in our national security, but also an expansion on our infrastructure, human capital, health, social investment, also accelerating our diversification through industrialization, digitization, manufacturing, innovation, and of course, lastly, improving the governance structure of our country for effective service delivery. I'll now outline some of those reasons why Nigeria is actually one of the world's most compelling business investment destinations at this time, and of course into the distant future. Number one, Nigeria is Africa's largest economy and of course most populous nation, with a population of over 220 million people. More than 70% of that population is under the age of 35. Now, this represents a thriving consumer market and labor force. We are indeed an ideal gateway to the African consumer market under the African Free Trade Area Agreement after. Number two, that youthful, entrepreneurial, and actively digital population is the force behind Nigeria turning out several unicorn companies. Here I'm talking, each of them, of course, valued at over $1 billion. In recent years, we have companies such as InterSwitch, Flutterwave, OP, Andela, MoneyPoint, Jumia, and Cheaper Cash. These companies, of course, are being driven largely by this great population, largely under 35 years of age. 3, Nigeria has sustained an unbroken democratic governance for over 25 years. Indeed, in the next 2 months, Nigeria's democracy will be, this round of democracy will be 26 years old. This is unprecedented in our history, and it is a sign of our rapidly maturing democracy, stability, and of course, predictability for all investors. Number 4, Nigeria is home to abundant natural resources, ranging from oil and gas to conventional and rare earth minerals, renewable energy that is also a potential to form hydro, solar power, and wind. Very recently, government is investing heavily in the solid minerals sector. Of course, you are aware that the last time the president came in November last year, there was an agreement signed here to develop the solid mineral part of our economy. Number 5, there is a commitment to strengthening institutions, a thriving democracy, and investor-friendly environment. 6, we have very robust and strong institutions such as the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, and many more, all working to safeguard investments, promote fair competition, and ensure a level playing field for all players, both local and foreign. Now, number 7, and this is very important. Under President Tinubu, Nigeria has embarked on historic economic reforms aimed at creating a more competitive and transparent, stable economic environment. This includes, among others, unifying and stabilizing the foreign exchange regime, which all of you are all aware of, phasing out the fuel subsidies regime that block leakages and guarantee greater revenues for our development. Now, Nigeria has more revenues now because of that single act that this administration has taken on. There is also an ambitious tax reform that is aimed at ensuring the ease and transparency of taxation, thereby eliminating double taxation and all other tax bottlenecks. We also have a system where private sector growth is led through legislative reforms and fiscal incentives. We're happy that we have members of the National Assembly that are championing that for our country. There is also an immigration and border management reform that the Ministry of Interior is also embarking on. This is aimed at promoting efficiency and security to ensure that both our entry and exit points are taken care of. Trade and investment reforms, including the implementation of national single window, as well as digital trade reforms that have earned acclaim both on the African continent and beyond. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is barely 20 months in office. And within this period of a hard start, we have been able to pull back the Nigerian economy from the brink of a fiscal crisis, with Nigeria recording, as at 2024, 3.84% GDP growth in the first quarter of 2024. And this is, of course, heading up. Indeed, Nigeria's adoption of fiscal discipline and revenue reform has seen an increase of about 20% in government revenues and a decline in debt servicing as a percentage of revenue. Our tax reforms are geared at raising the tax to GDP ratio to 18% over the next 18 months without increasing the burden on existing taxpayers. The focus is through a broadening of the tax base through simplification and digitization. We are aware of the robust debate that has happened in the last few months to ensure that our tax system goes through very strong reform. Government is playing its role as catalyst for the private sector through the establishment of the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Fund, the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, the Presidential CNG Gas Initiative, the MOFI, that is Ministry of Finance Incorporated Real Estate Investment, the Presidential Metering Initiative, among others. Of course, there's also the Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain and so many other reforms that is happening to ensure that Nigeria is being put back on a path of sustainable progress and prosperity. Through all of these interventions, we are deploying government seed funding to lay the groundwork for leveraging trillions of naira in private sector commitments towards infrastructure, access to consumer credit, healthcare, real estate, and many more. Now, Nigeria called for increased investment partnership, and indeed this is part of the reason why we are gathered here this morning. We are, of course, keen to see French companies seize the moment to look towards Nigeria and for Nigerian companies to look towards France with greater enthusiasm to invest on both sides. This being France, home to Danone, one of the largest food and dairy produce companies in the world, it is worth highlighting that President Tinubu has recently created a dedicated ministry, the Ministry of Livestock Development, to oversee the growth in that sector, which is expected to be a massive growth area in the Nigerian economy. In the last 2 years alone, 3 Nigerian banks have expanded their European presence by opening offices here in France, here in Paris, and there is more to come across various sectors, including culture, media, and technology. We are also looking at partners such as Thomson to ensure that that happens, especially for the media sector. While in this great country, I look forward to meeting with senior officials of the state-owned media holding company, France Media Monde, I hope I pronounced that well, the French Regulatory Authority for Audiovisual and Digital Broadcast, a leading French firm in broadcast equipment manufacturing, that is Thomson, among others. These are some of the things that we're also doing while we're here. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, in less than 2 months from now, like I said earlier, Nigeria will celebrate 26 years of uninterrupted democratic rule, with 4 years of federal election cycle, edged into our governance fabric, and a young population, like I said earlier, that is fiercely protective of our equally young democracy. As President Bola Ahmed Tinubu affirmed during the state dinner that President Emmanuel Macron hosted in November last year, there is no going back on this reform journey that we have started in Nigeria. This will make us a truly enduring and prosperous nation. In the words of the President, we must brace up for the future with commitment and optimism, and with the courage of our founding fathers. We look forward to walking this road of reform to transform the relationship that exists between us, and also to consolidate the economic footing of Nigeria, with France, of course, as a close partner and friend. Thank you so much for listening. God bless the French Republic. God bless Destination Nigeria.